share the private memories and never-before-seen moments with those who knew him best. Melissa Gilbert, Merlin Olsen, Dick Van Dyke, Richard Mulligan, and more, along with the people he treasured most, his family. Tonight, we celebrate the life of that friend, Michael Landon.
Hello, I'm Michael Landon, Jr., and my brothers and sisters and I have gotten together with some old friends to celebrate, along with you, the life of an extraordinary man, my dad. That's my sister Shauna, and that's Mark chomping on a burger. That's little Jennifer, and Chris. That's Leslie, and that's Josh, that's Cheryl, and of course that's me.
Did you ever sneak up on any of you when you were supposed to be studying and you weren't studying?
No, we always studied, Mark.
Only you, Mark. Tell them about that.
Well,
That's cute.
one time I was 10 years old. I was supposed to do my math, right? And I wasn't very good at it back then. I was trying to get the answer. And I couldn't get it, so I started praying, went, God, please give me the answer. Please, give me the answer. And suddenly I hear this voice. I'll give you the answer. Yeah, but I went... If you finish your lamb chops, next time Mom makes them for you. And I turned around. But he really had me I was a weird feeling because he changed his voice.
Yeah.
And it didn't sound like him.
Me and Sean were being really bad at this night.
What were you doing?
So, Dad pulled down her pants, and he was going to spank us. So I just sat there, because I knew it was going to get over sooner or later. And I knew he wasn't going to spank us, because Sean was just going to start crying. Go, Daddy, don't. So I'm just sitting there smiling. Well, Sean starts crying. He goes, Daddy, don't. He goes, okay, and give him one more chance.
So what about you? Did he give you a chance too?
Yes.
No, Dad would hit the head like that.
Yeah.
Just smack it like
He'd
that.
just go like this.
Or if Fritz and I were fighting, he'd bang our heads together.
Oh, yeah.
He just knock it off. Boom.
I'll never forget when he scared Shauna when we were up on location.
Shauna was
bear.
She was just a tiny little one. And they were doing a sequence where there was a bear, and Dad put the bear costume on and went over and got right behind Shauna. When she turned around, you should have seen her expression. She was like that life was over.
Oh my God.
Grabbed a hold of her, and she really freaked out until Dad pulled the bear hat off, and you lit up like a light.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were just, oh, so cute.
What about the time when it was Halloween and And Dad wanted to go get some food at Carlos and Pepe's. And he put his amazing, do you remember this, Dad? And he put on his amazing man outfit, like the Superman outfit with the cape.
Oh my God.
And he's got, you know, the big yellow cape, you know, he's got like that special shoulder thing that makes, you know, he looks like bigger. So then he comes in, and then he put his hands and said, "I'm here to pick up my order." And then there were some people, there were a lot of people in there. He's got the cape, and we're standing next to him, we're like, we're not related to this man. That's true, we didn't want to be related to him. With the hips.
No, looking around.
Come What happened with Sean?
Dad always he always cut new shirts and he cut the sleeves off.
Oh, yeah.
So Sean wanted to have, remember how you wanted Daddy's shirts? So you went and you cut all the sleeves off your shirts. Daddy helped you cut all, he got all these brand new shirts, and Cindy goes into the drawer and finds all the sleeves cut off of these little tiny shirts. Sean had the little shirts cut off like Daddy.
We were at the John concert. And I think Cindy had brought a bag of cherries or something, and this guy kept standing out, a huge guy, just, you know, like, sit down, you know, and Dad just getting furious with him. I think Mike was over in a box, 2 boxes over, and then Dad was at one end, and between all of us, we kept pelting this guy with cherry pits and cherries.
Well, as soon as we saw Dad throwing cherries,
yeah, he's
all of us.
yeah, so we're like pitching in here.
But I also remember, too, that he always came home at dinner time, and he was so tired, and he always made the time to talk to us.
Oh, yeah.
He always, no matter how much pressure he was under.
Yeah. We used to play Three Flies Up and playing baseball, and we'd always go to your school for events, like for your piano recitals. We'd love to listen to you play, Jen. Hey, Mike, you're not the chef we thought you were.
My dad was born Eugene Orowitz in 1936 in Forest Hills, New York. But the family soon moved to Collingswood, New Jersey. His childhood was not exactly as idyllic as the Ingalls children had in Little House, and he would draw on it in later years in movies such as Sam's Son and The Loneliest Runner.
2, 4, 6, 8, who do we appreciate? Ram! Ram! Yeah, yeah, yeah! 2, 4, 6, 8, who do we appreciate? Ram! Ram! Yeah, yeah, yeah! 2, 4, 6, 8, who do we appreciate?
John! Why did you lie? Huh? You told me you stopped. Now, why did you have to lie about it? Answer me!
I don't know.
Well, you think of one. I want an answer now.
I just don't know.
You don't know? Well, you better think of something. You better think of it fast, because I've been real easy on you, and I'm not going to do it anymore, you hear? Now, what your mother did today was right, and I'm going to see she keeps on doing it until you stop. You hear me? Till you stop! I'm talking to you, do you hear me?
But it's a hereditary sleep pattern. And if he wets the bed, the chances are his father wet the bed. Now, my dad never told me he wet the bed until I was 19 years old. Now, if he'd have told me that when I was a little kid, I'd have been thrilled. I would have. Because when you're a little guy and you wet the bed, you don't think anybody in the world wets the bed except you. You think you're the only one.
This comes out of a personal experience.
Oh, sure, I was a bedwetter. He's looking like he's worried about the couch.
No.
Well, Horowitz, I'm glad you could find the time to join us.
All right, Goose.
Come on, throw it. Hey, Horowitz! Come on! We haven't got all day.
What are you, Mighty Mouse?
Sorry about that, Coach. Hope I didn't wreck it. I'll get it.
That is one hell of a toss.
Now, your new movie, Sam's Son, it's kind of based loosely or quite a bit on your own life?
Very much on my own life. I had this weird thing when I was a kid that the longer my hair got, the stronger I got. I thought
because
that
of
I was
Samson or something?
Yeah.
Would pluck the 2 prime feathers from the tip of one wing. And the mighty eagle could no longer fly. The mark of his power is gone.
The mark of his power. Samson. This is the mark of your power. It's your hair. If it were shorn from your head.
I'd be as weak as any other man.
You believe it?
What?
The movie, Samson.
It's hard to believe in a movie about Jews when all the parts are played by Gentiles.
Come on, you know what I mean. Do you believe all that about Samson? About him getting his strength from his hair?
It's in the Old Testament. It must be true. I wish he were around today. He'd make a great usher.
I came out to California when I was 17 years old. I had a scholarship to the University of Southern California. I was a javelin thrower, and I really felt that the rest of my life was planned. I'd spend 4 years in college and then join the service and throw the javelin in the service, maybe win the Olympics. And then I hurt my arm, and I had kind of a bad time at the school after that because I couldn't compete, and I wasn't treated quite as well as I thought I should be, and I finally quit school and got a job in a warehouse. And while I was working there, a fellow I was unloading freight cars with had a scene to do at a studio. And I thought, why not? I'll give it a shot. And it was a scene from Home of the Brave, and he gave me the part of the young Jewish soldier. It was the really emotional part in the show, because he was kind of afraid of it. And it was the first time I'd ever tried anything like that, and I suddenly realized that it was a great release for me. I could cry when I was someone else and get a lot of things out of my system that I couldn't get out on my own. And one of the things I found out pretty early was that wanting to be an actor and getting a job were 2 entirely different things. I spent a lot of time in parking lots waiting for producers and agents to come out of their office, because if you don't have an agent, you're not a member of SAG, you can't get an appointment a lot of times. So I'd wait for them in a parking lot and do the buck and wing and whistle through my teeth and audition for them on the way to their cars. And finally, a gentleman named Jerry Stagg gave me my first chance. I had the lead on a show called Telephone Time.
Soft like the fur of a cub. The way he turns from the light. Who is he?
Perhaps an idiot peasant?
Good, so good.
Beautiful is the word, Caspar.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Don't come.
Little person. So little.
That is a child.
Child?
We were all little children once, like her.
Not Casper.
Yes, even you.
No.
Of course, in your darkness, how could you know that your body was growing? With what could you compare yourself? That is a flower, a rose.
A rose. Beautiful.
That is a thorn. Often with beauty, there is a little pain.
From Decatur, Illinois, Kid Lombard.
One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Hey, Jeff, where you been? I've been looking all over for you. Some people are waiting outside. They're going to throw a big party for you.
You hear that? You hear that? A big party. Big party for the champ. You come too, sis.
No, kid. Tonight is your night.
Don't you like me?
Oh, gosh almighty, I just didn't know there was a girl as pretty as you in the whole country. I mean, you're the prettiest girl I ever seen. And, and you're so soft. And you talk like a bird song. And you smell good, too.
Oh, just love the way you talk.
Hi, I'm Steve Bentley. Oh, that's too bad. I'm president of the Rangers. Oh, well, I'm sorry, but I'm looking for some real action. Well, we got most of the football players. No, a different kind of action. Okay, see you around. Why not?
How old were you when you first started? Bonanza was not the first show you've ever done.
Oh, no, I did a lot of, you know, when I started television, there were 39 westerns on the air when I
Were you
came
in the days when
television
Gunsmoke started and all of them?
Oh, yeah, we had Gunsmoke and Wyatt Earp and Have Gun Will Travel.
Yeah,
Wanted Dead or Alive. I did the pilot for Wanted Dead or Alive with Steve McQueen.
Come on in. Don't be bashful. Shut the door.
Why are you doing this? All he wants is something to eat.
Saw you coming up, Randall.
I didn't make a secret of it.
Do you know him?
He's the guy that shot me.
No.
It's like I didn't do a very good job.
You see, he admits it.
Tell her why.
Shut up.
Tell her. How you and your brother cut a man in half.
I told you to shut up.
These guys used to live this stuff. Used to live it.
Right.
You know, a guy like Peter Breck from Black Saddle would go on the set of Wanted Dead or Alive with Steve McQueen over by the coffee machine. They tell me you're pretty fast. McQueen would look up. Fast enough. Commissary, 1 o'clock.
The Rifleman.
Get inside, Mark. Go on, son. You know what's wrong with you? You want to quit that bunch, but you're afraid to admit it to yourself. You know why? Because you've had a taste of regular life and you like it. You met a girl you might be in love with. And you've probably even got a notion about settling down.
That stuff is for fools, not for me. Well, even if I wanted to settle down, and I'm not saying that I do, what could I do about it?
That's easy, son. When they come for you, just tell them you're through.
That's easy. Well, you don't know my brother.
Did you ever make a pilot for television that was a real stinker?
Oh, yes.
I mean, a bomb. I've never talked about it.
I'm so glad you asked. You made a show that you thought was great. I made a show years ago before Bonanza. It was a half-hour show, and I played a character named Johnny Risk.
Johnny Risk? That's a typical television name.
Wait till they get a load of me.
Did this ever see the light of television at all?
No.
What do you have against these people?
Nothing. They merely have property that we should have had in the first place.
And they worked hard for it. They fought freezing temperatures, hunger, wild animals. They've got wives and children.
Well, what about the rest of us? We've gone through a lot up in this miserable country. Anyway, please, spare me the sermon.
You talk to me about sermons. Well, it seems to me a day never went by when I was a kid that you weren't lecturing me on decency and integrity and morality.
And I'm happy to see that my lectures bore fruit. Nobody can deny that you're a decent, well-liked, and completely respectable human being.
So you volunteered to go on a mission with me?
It's my one chance. I'm going to prove to you and through you to the entire crew that I'm not yellow.
In my book, you're still a murdering, yellow-gutted louse.
I said I'd go around you, or through you, or over you. Look, Doc, I don't want to do this, but either you take care of that boy, or so help me God, I'm going to kill you. Help me, Doctor, please! I know they're going to catch me, but don't let anyone see me like that. Please, Doctor, help me!
Michael Landon in a powerful performance as the boy possessed.
Remember how wonderful it was when you sprang and suddenly dug in with your fangs, a soft throat, the gush of warm blood?
No! No!
Nothing you've ever seen has such blood-chilling savagery. Nothing you've ever conceived packs such a spine-tingling jolt. This high school boy, a teenage werewolf, a constant threat of claw-ripping attack to everyone.
That string of parts was about to lead into the part that would make my father famous, Little Joe in Bonanza. And by the time his career was over, he had written 107 hours, directed 208, produced 330, and starred in over 800 hours of television productions.
Yep, that's a fact.
The Michael Landon tribute will continue with David Canary.
And I'll go to town. Come on, what kind of show was that?
Ponderosa.
We're not a one to settle up and run bonanza. Any one of us starts a little fight, knows you can trust on me.
I've got a flair for women everywhere. Bonanza! Bonanza! And when I call on any gal at all, she's gonna welcome
Too much
me.
noise. Can't sleep.
I'm not afraid of any pretty maid. Bonanza! Bonanza! When I give a kiss to any pretty miss, she'll learn a lot from me.
144-441. We guarantee 144-441.
Hi, I'm David Canary. For 6 years, the Ponderosa was home to me when I played Candy, the foreman on the Cartwright Ranch. In 1959, America was introduced to two things that changed the viewing habits of tens of millions of people across the country. The first was the advent of color television. The second was a program called Bonanza. One wouldn't have existed without the other.
Oh, I think the early days of Bonanza, it's a known fact, NBC wanted to show in color. RCA wanted to show in color, I should say. And NBC was the only show on NBC that was in color. And we spent hours lighting every scene. We had 15, 16 electricians every day to make sure the color balance was correct. We had people all at the network that used to take all kinds of pains in getting the right quality going out on the air, and I think the first 2 years, it stayed on the air solely because of the color quality that they had.
Boy, I never knew a couple dozen sheep could be so ornery. Almost as bad as people. Hey, what are you looking at now? Hey, that's what I call a right pretty girl. Hey, look over here. That fella right there, that's that handsome Joe Cartwright. This guy's always watching me when I'm shaving. I just can't seem to get rid of him.
I was the first writer to become a television producer. The show was a little show called The Restless Gun with an actor named John Payne. And Michael had been in the pilot.
Look what just rode into town.
While I was doing that, I got the idea for Bonanza. I called Michael. He came in, and there he was. You know, the first time I really had met him in the flesh. He was a most attractive young man.
We got a little game we like to play with strangers that come into town.
Oh?
Yeah. You see, you and me draw on each other. And the man that draws the fastest gets to shoot a cartridge off the other man's head at 50 paces.
That sounds a mite dangerous.
Oh, you mean you don't want to play?
Do you know when we do that shot where the four of, we used a title shot at one point where the four of us rode up at a full gallop and pulled up right in front of camera with a smile kind of like this.
Little macho type of head.
Right. And that smile meant, oh.
What's the matter with you? Haven't you ever seen a lady before?
No, ma'am. I mean, not such a pretty one. Not in a long time.
You know, girls say they like poetry and music. But the men that really impress them are those of strength. Of courage.
I'm gonna take this gun, and I'm gonna walk through that barricade, and I'm gonna walk down that street up to that mesa, and I'm gonna kill as many of Matthew's men as I can before they kill me.
Of physical action.
Little Joe, the way Mike played him, was the hot-blooded little brother of the Cartwright clan. He was the one who most often got the girl.
Now, I can't speak real fancy like Shakespeare. And I don't agree with him.
Why not?
Well, first of all, I can't compare you to a summer's day. You're more like a day in spring. I could talk real fancy, and I could say that your eyes are like stars. And I could say that your mouth is like a rose. When I look at you, I just can't think of anything to say.
Am I beautiful?
You're very beautiful.
Can we talk of love sometime? Oh, Joe, if you really want me.
Oh, want you. I want you more than anything else in the world.
Tell me again, Joe. Say it again.
I love you. I love you more than anything else in the world. Tirza, you can't go. Do you understand? I love you more than anything in my life. Of course, I'm not exactly Romeo.
You brute! Bully! Why, you mealy-mouthed, addle-headed, mangy renegade cut into a second low bow! Come on. Come on, get... Come on!
want to give you a chance to learn that lesson. Just leave that stand there. See, that's a very important beer glass. That beer glass is you. This one's me. See, now the idea is to see if you can spill my beer before I spill yours. Anytime you're ready, loudmouth. Oh, you would have died of a real bad case of slow.
Don't you turn away from me, Cartwright!
You killed my pa!
I'm sorry.
In our first season, 9 o'clock, we were #1. And that is not only because of color, but because of the excellence of the cast. And we remained #1, I think, for 5 or 6 years in a row. And through our entire 14 years, including the first 2 years, we were never out of the first 5 places. And we were #1, I think, more than any other show in the history of television.
Joseph, will you do me a birthday favor?
Well, you just name it, Pa.
I'd like to hear one of my favorite songs, Shenandoah.
Well, here goes.
Oh, Shenandoah, I long to hear you away, you rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to hear you away. I'm bound away across the wide Missouri.
You're not good.
Did we ever play on this show the Japanese version of Bonanza? Have you ever seen
Oh,
an
I
excerpt
see. Oh,
of
it's
it?
incredible.
It is hysterical.
綺麗にしといてびっくりさせるんだそんなことしないよ
こんにちはやっほーちびすけいいぞ兄貴より先に嫁さんもらうなんて大したやつだチャチャカチャチャチャカチャ
Dan Blocker would get off a horse. Dan weighed, what, 260 pounds?
320 when
And he'd come in and get off of the horse, and the Japanese
And the horse would go,
Then this big Dan Blocker you'd hear. It was hysterical. All the dubbed in Japanese.
Yeah. And they had Hop Sing in the show would go, hello.
While most actors in television series were negotiating for higher fees and bigger trailers and star billing, Michael Landon was one of the first to ask for something else. He wanted to direct.
Morning, boys. Beautiful morning. Oh, you're awful quiet this morning. I figured you'd be happy to see me.
You're insane, Postley. You know that, don't you? You're insane, and you're trying to drive us insane. But it won't work. I feel sorry for you, John.
You're down there, and I'm up here. And you feel sorry for me. I'm free to go any place I want to.
No, you're not. You can't get away from here. You gotta keep coming back day after day, week after week. You're just as much a prisoner as we are. You'll never be free.
There was a scene that I was delighted that he wrote for me, in which Candy finally becomes unhinged in his prison, and James Whitmore, the heavy tosses down dynamite.
From then on, Mike devoted his time and talents to writing. And as Kent said, he worked with John Hawkins, who was a great teacher, and Mike was a quick learner. I started out by saying that Mike was a brat. And after directing him in 63 Bonanzas, and then working for him as a director for 68 Little Houses and 22 Father Murphys, I found that one of the best, finest friends I'd ever had, the most talented people.
My great delight and surprise was at his naturalness, his ease, his understanding of so many aspects of things, and his great capacity not to let his own celebrity get in the way of what he was trying to do. You know, that's not always possible with a lot of people. But I thought The Wish was a strong piece. I thought it was ahead of its time. I thought it said quite a lot for Hollywood for its day.
Jesse, you get that wagon and start loading. Beth, you help him.
Papa, this is our home. We can't leave.
Jesse, you load that wagon, boy.
You want them to know they scared you off? You want them to know they scared you off?
So you're just gonna run, huh? Yes, I'm gonna run. You're the fella that was telling me how hard you worked to be a free man. How you love the farm and love to put the seeds in the ground and make them grow. You're gonna give all that up, huh? That's right. I thought you was a better man than that, Sam. I'm not just a man, I'm a black man. And don't you go thinking you know how I feel unless you're black, too. I love this farm. But I love my children more. I can plant corn again and make it grow. I can plant beans and make them grow. But I can't make my children grow again if they're dead. And that's why we're moving out of here. Sam, I can understand you're being scared, but there comes a time when a man's got to fight. And they ain't gonna hurt them kids, I promise you that. I ain't gonna let them, I promise you I won't let them. Thank you, boss. Thank you for taking care of old Sam and his children. Oh, Sam, I didn't mean it like... No, you're right, boss. Go ahead and take care of old Sam. Show his boys how the big white man always takes care of Papa, so that when they grow up, they won't forget that it's the white man who is the man.
I think it's easy to understand how Michael might have looked upon The Wish as an episode that satisfied him more deeply, perhaps, than all the others that he had done.
There was one very special relationship between Dan Blocker and Michael, which mirrored the brother relationship they portrayed on the screen.
It's very considerate of you to drive me, Mr. Cartwright.
Well, most people hereabouts just call me Little Joe.
Little Joe? Well, you're not that small.
Oh, it's not that bad. It's my brother Horst is that big.
Joe, this old wagon's getting mighty heavy.
You gotta suffer a little bit to be champion.
You sure we're going about this the right way, Joe?
Oh, I'm positive. Please, let me do the thinking. All right, 25. How about it now? Come on! That's it. That's it. Very good. All right, let it down easy. Easy. Oh, I told you to be careful. You know I got a bad back.
Now, look, are you letting your heart rule your pocketbook?
Well, Joe, money ain't everything, Dad Burnett.
All right. Look, I didn't know when I went in barters with you that you were going to go squeamish on me. But let's not forget that I still have a little say. Half of these rabbits happen to be mine. And I am going to skin my half of the rabbits. Now, if you'll just step aside.
No, you ain't. You ain't skinning these rabbits, Joe.
Oh, yes, I am. Would you step? You're standing in front. Fat Gerby right there behind your head happens to be my Gerby. You're standing in front of my Gerby.
No, you ain't skinning these rabbits. Not today, you ain't, Joseph.
I'm skinning that Gerby. Now, I don't want to have to come through you.
I'd reconsider that, little brother.
Well, I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you, my brother, not fast. Now, that Gerby right behind there is my rabbit. I'll cut you to ribbons. I'm gonna have to. I'm telling you, I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna. That's my Gerby, and I'm gonna get to him. One way or the other, Brother Horse, I'm gonna get into one of these cages.
Oh, Mike, come here. Let me out of here! Where are you?
I'm over here.
Now, don't you run away.
Oh, I won't. Pa sent me to bring you home to supper.
Burnett. Dad, burn your ornery hide, little brother. Wait till I get my hand. Oh, you.
Hey, you be the bull. You be the bull.
Ah, don't be silly.
Well, come on. One of us got to be the bull, and you're bigger than I am.
You ready?
Okay.
Hey, bully. Hey, bully. Hey, bully. Hey, bully. Hey, bully. Hey, Hoss. Hey, Hoss.
Enjoying yourself, little brother?
Having a heck of a time. You see the way back in town?
I sure did.
Is that beautiful?
I was real proud of you, little brother. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
When Dan passed away, Michael wrote a tribute episode called Forever.
So beautiful.
That's my favorite place. Brother Hoss and I used to come here when we were kids. We didn't do anything special. We just sit and look at it. We used to call it our happy place.
You really loved him, didn't you?
Our tribute will continue with Melissa Gilbert.
From the time that I was 9 until I was 17,
I must have run out that door 100 times. In later years, I moved to this house. I no longer ran out the door, for childhood had given way to young adulthood, and I had a child of my own. But I'll never forget that first house. It was like a real home to me, not make-believe. And Michael Landon was more than just my boss. He was like my father. The streets of Walnut Grove are covered with mustard meat. It's hard now to see where the buildings once stood, but for me, the memories are still very clear. That was the Mercantile, church, Nellie's restaurant, the ice house, and the road that led up to the mill.
I can remember Pa and Mr. Hanson, and how they walked and looked and talked, and how we wondered what they said.
Oh, you know, there is no hurry, Mr. Inglis. If I were in your boots, I would think on it and sleep on it.
Another thing about it, Mr. Hanson, my mind's made up.
Yeah?
I'll be in Walnut Grove tomorrow morning to sign the papers.
All right. I'll be at the mill.
I'll see you then.
Right.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Ingles family, as soon as you get done soaking your feet, we got a wagon to unload.
We're home.
We're home.
My favorite episode is The Lord is My Shepherd. I think it was because it was like working with my father.
No, no more. I surrender. I can't run another step.
Me neither.
Oh,
It was the best day ever, wasn't it, Pa?
oh that it was. That part.
I'll always remember it, won't you?
I'll always remember it.
I love you more than anything.
I love you.
I think that he was able to make me feel safe enough to show things that I wouldn't to anybody else. And that it was okay to let things out. It opens with the birth of a son for Ma and Pa. Pa really wanted a son. I am very jealous and feeling very neglected, and the baby gets sick, and we're asked to pray for him, and I don't.
You forgot the special one for Charles. Ma asked us to. I don't have to. Don't you even care about your own brother? Pa cares enough for all of us. But that's all he cares about anymore.
I don't pray for him to get well, and he dies. And, I blame myself. And in church one Sunday, I hear the Reverend Alden say, the closer you are to God, the more likely he is to listen. So I take that literally, and I climb a mountain looking for God to ask him to take me and give Pa back his son. And that's where I meet Jonathan, played by Ernie Borgnine.
Can't you speak, child?
Where am I?
Don't you know?
I'm not sure.
You're on my mountain. Jonathan's mountain.
At the end of the episode, where he and Victor have climbed the mountain looking for me, and they find me, and Ernie Borgnine says, "Go to him, child, go to him."
No, child.
Let me go.
No.
I don't want Pa to find me until God answers.
He has answered.
No, he hasn't.
He has answered. And he's made his decision. That's why he sent your pa. He wants you to be with your pa and your brother to be with him.
That isn't what I wanted. Pa wants a son.
No, child. That's what you thought he wanted. Only God knows best about these things. That's why he sent your pa here. Because he knows that your pa loves you and needs you. How else could your father have found you?
How can you be sure?
He told me, child. Go to him, Laura.
Why did you do it?
I thought you needed Charles more than me.
How could you think that?
I just did.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It was my fault.
We just worked so well together. It was just so natural and so real. And I remember feeling really loved.
It was the two shows where I went blind, and I remember thinking the season before, I think it was at the wrap party, the season before, and I actually was a nervous wreck, and I went up to him thinking that you're writing me out, why are you doing this to me, you know? And he said, it'll be great. Missy, this is going to be great, you know, trust me. And he had been absolutely right. He said it was going to be great, and it was.
Now, I'd like you to make your goodbye as brief as possible. Well, I thought I could spend some time with Mary. My train doesn't leave until 4.
No. The time spent would only be painful for both of you. Adam, can I see you a minute?
Yes, sir.
Hey, nice room.
Pa. Pa, I didn't know you were here.
Yeah, well, I can't stay very long. I got a chance to catch an earlier train. I thought I'd try to make it.
But I thought we'd spend the afternoon.
Well, I was going to, but then this earlier train came up. I took a look at the place. It's a fine place. You're in good hands. So, hey, I'm gonna make that train. I better go. Give me a hug.
Pa, don't leave me here. Please don't leave me here.
I love you. I gotta go.
Don't leave me here, please.
First show that I did was Plague, and I was about 9 or 10, and I played a dying girl. I had plague, and my dad played the part of Mr. Ingalls, and he came in to talk to me, and I was the neighbor child, and I remember it was very special because it was the first time I ever got to act, and I remember we had to do the scene over again because while my dad was saying his lines, he got more emotional than he wanted to, as if I was his daughter instead of the neighbor's child. And so we had to do it over again.
Mr. Ingalls? My mom and Pa all right?
They're fine. I was out to see him this morning. They want to send you a whole mess of cornbread, but I told him it'd be a little while before you got your appetite back.
Feed a cold, starve a fever, Ma says.
Your ma's right.
I wonder if I'm gonna die.
You're gonna be just fine.
I'm not scared. I know I'll go to heaven. Especially when you die in church.
No more talk of dying, all right? Just get some sleep.
All right.
And I remember driving back in the car with him after a day's work and just feeling so proud. I think that was probably my most special memory of working with Dad.
Gunn and Merlin Olsen.
I've been involved in a drug program called PADA, which is Pharmacists Against Drug Abuse. We started a pilot program back east. And after I initiated the program, I came back and wrote a 2-hour show with Matthew Laberto, who played Albert on the show. He was a wonderful young actor. Because I wanted to do a show to try to reach children, young kids, when you can still get something accomplished.
Did you lose something? No. Don't you lie to me, Albert.
Lie to you about what?
About the morphine.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Talking about the morphine that you took from Dr. Baker. Now, don't lie to me. You took it, didn't you? Didn't you?
Yes! I took it.
How long have you been taking it?
I don't know.
How long?
A few months.
How much? Once a day, twice a day, how much?
I don't know. Once in a while.
Why? Why?
What do you care?
What do I care? You're my son. I love you.
Then why'd you bring me back here?
To try and help you.
You were gonna leave me here.
That's not true.
Yes, it is! You can leave me here. You want me to tell the truth, but you don't.
All right. All right, I was going to leave you here. But I wanted to get you out of that city. I wanted to get you away from people like the Morgans. I swear to you, I did it because I love you. No more running, son. No more.
Let me go. No! No! We're going back! We're going back! No! Listen. Talk me to Doc Baker. He's got some...
No!
Mom, please. I'll die if I don't.
You'll die if you don't stop.
Why are you doing this to me?
I didn't do this to you. You did. I didn't put that poison in you. You did. You understand? You did.
Mom, please.
And you can cry and you can beg and you can plead. But it's not going to work. Not with me. Not with me.
I remember the one thing that stuck out of my mind is you always wanted to please this man so much, you know? You always wanted to do your best work. And it was so important to look over at him when the scene was done, and he was always there, you know, just saying, good job. It was just, you know, it was just nice. He'd come over and give you a hug and whisper in your ear, good job, you know, I'm proud of you, whatever. And then, okay, next scene.
The Fighter. That was my favorite show of all the Little Houses that I did. It was a story about a man who had been a fighter. He was over the hill. He was on his way down. I don't often talk about myself, about my work, because that's sort of how it comes across, because that's the eye of the beholder. But doing that particular show and telling that particular story, Michael, he directed the hell out of that.
I'm glad to see you tonight. I don't know what happened. I caught a punch early. I couldn't get my head clear. It could have gone the other way easy enough. Just not my night.
Oh, stop it. I swear, after every fight, it gets just a little bit worse.
It ain't so. I'm groggy from the fight.
Oh, that's a lie. That's a lie.
No, it ain't.
Then read it. Remember how you always used to read the Bible to me, Joe, before every fight? Go on, Joe.
I'm tired.
Read it.
The thought of death accomplished me. The pains of hell got hold upon me. I found sorrow and trouble. Then I called upon Jesus. I can't understand me. I can't.
It's all right. It's all right. You know I didn't want to hurt you. But you got to stop now. You can't go on fighting.
I have to. It's what I do.
No, but you can't do it anymore.
That's what I do. It's all I can do.
No, honey, you can go out and you can get yourself a regular job.
Doing what?
Anything. Anything. Anything is better than this. Killing yourself night after night. Promise me, Joe, you'll go out and you'll look for a job tomorrow. Promise me, Joe. Joe, I swear, if you don't promise me, I will leave you, and the boy will go with me. Joe.
I can't.
One of the scripts that was perhaps my favorite, I had talked to him about a storyline of development for the boys, where the boys would be kind of going through a transition period and given a test to prove that they were old enough now to be considered adults. Took on something my pa said I wasn't ready for. Meant 3 days and 3 nights out there all alone. Well, I don't have to tell you that those were 3 of the longest, loneliest nights of my life. Something about being out there all alone in the wilderness. Michael turned the story a little bit and said, but why not add this element of allowing the fathers to follow the boys to check up on them and allow the fathers to get in all the trouble, which is what happened.
Let's go.
Let's eat some of those berries and then follow.
Yeah.
Come on. My stomach. Oh, berries. Berries.
Them two didn't lead much, did they?
We're splitting.
Can you believe it? Why, they're two little men.
Hungry ones, too. Yep, there's hungry, all right.
Would you like a little dessert?
Wait till those two finish eating all that food. If they can't pay for it, they're gonna be in a mess of trouble.
Yeah, I hope they call the law on them, put a little fear of God in them.
Yeah. It'll still work out perfect, though. We'll let them spend the night in jail. We can come in tomorrow and tell them that we heard and came on the stage. In the meantime, we can get us a warm bed and get out of this rain and get some food. I'm hungry.
All right, that'll teach them a lesson. How much money did you bring?
For what?
For the bed and the food. How much money did you bring? You did bring money.
Charles, I thought you had some money.
I didn't bring any money.
People always ask me, what was Michael Landon really like? The first thing that comes to mind is his incredible sense of humor. Mike loved to make people laugh.
Carolyn? I ran in a track. I hurt myself bad.
Okay, we're rolling.
It's really dark in this turn, Carolyn.
Patrick, you've got to eat something.
My name is Andrew.
You're right, Andrew. Oh, you're burning up.
Your hand is like ice. We're all sick, Charles.
Take an enema. Are you absolute klutz?
You went that bad, Joe.
I thought she was gone. Nag, nag, nag. Why don't you mind your own business?
You gotta look on the bright side. Just think what a big meal we'll have tonight when we eat that sucker.
I thought you'd killed another one. He's got to get out of here.
Calf was an extra bonus because it was too young to leave its mother.
Now there'll be milk for the children.
I don't care about the children,
Butter.
Carol. I'm fed up with the kids.
You all right?
Oh, my butt. 14 years on Bonanza. It still hurts when I ride.
Like the old saying, all great things must come to an end. And so did our 10-year run on Little House.
What good is it to worry about something that is past when we have the future to look to?
No, Lassiter's got the future. He moves in here and runs the businesses that we've sweated over for years.
Well, why let him? There's something we can do. I got mad today. Really mad. And you know what I did? I busted some windows. Yeah, it may sound silly. Well, maybe it is. But they were our windows, and he's not gonna get them.
owns the land. We'll let him have it. But he's gonna have an awful lot of fixing up to do before he starts running our boarding house.
Listen here. You want to do more than bust a couple of windows? I got a wagon at my place loaded to the gills with dynamite for the mine.
When it was all over, when all of the buildings, which had become a second home, not only to me, but to millions of fans all over the world, were gone, and when everyone else had gone home, I remember Mike took me in his arms. I was crying, and he put my head on his chest, and he said, "Don't worry, kid. It's not the end. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning."
29 years.
Oh, Jonathan, you gotta sit down and watch this. I was a teenage werewolf. Oh, I love horror films. It killed her. You know, the guy in this film reminds me a lot of you. I mean when he's a regular guy, not when he's got the hair all over his face. Come on, Jonathan, why don't you sit down and watch this? We don't have an assignment. Let's just take it easy. Hey, buddy, is there something wrong? Jonathan? Get yourself together. It's a dream. Oh, it's a dream. It's a dream. It's not a dream. No, Jonathan, please. Mark. No, Mark, Jonathan, please. Jonathan.
Wake
Jonathan,
up.
please.
Wake up.
Jonathan.
Take it easy. You're having a dream. You all right?
Yeah. That was some dream. I mean, it was real.
The sandwich.
What?
The sandwich, the submarine sandwich. You can't eat like that before you go to sleep. Hey, I warned you.
That's right, you did. I mean, it was real, Jonathan. It was just like in the movies. Well, except you were older. You're like a middle-aged werewolf.
Why did you have to put it that way?
By the time my dad made Highway to Heaven, he was at the height of his career and his creative powers, and he was ready to do a different kind of show. In Bonanza, he was the feisty, hot-tempered little brother, and in Little House on the Prairie, he portrayed the prototype of the American pioneer father, and the shows dealt with every aspect of the American life. But with Highway to Heaven, he was about to do a show which would reflect his feelings of man and God, man and man, and man in the environment.
Easy, take it easy. I'm not gonna hurt you. Take it easy, you're okay.
What's wrong with him?
like you got hung up in telephone wires or anything.
No, something else is happening here. He's dead.
I bet you're wondering who I am and what I'm doing here. You're wondering that, aren't you? Well, I've been elected by the birds of Rose Beach to be their spokesman. Of course, they wanted to speak for themselves, but they couldn't. You know why? Because they're dead. They're dead. And these are only the beginning. I'm talking about groundwater contamination, and the source of that contamination is Drake Technologies.
Why don't you fly back to your nest, you kook? There's nothing wrong with our plant.
There's a lot wrong with this plant. And these birds are only the beginning. Only the beginning. The weak are always the first to die. Small animals, birds, and your babies. And then your elderly. It's contamination that's killing them. And where's it gonna stop? Or has it started with you already? Look at you all looking at me like I'm a fool. Why worry about this, huh? Worry about the important things. Worry about the bomb. Oh, we're gonna be killed by the bomb. Well, let me tell you, none of you are gonna die from the bomb. You'll be dead long before that because you're killing yourselves.
Hey, friend. Yeah? You parked in the handicap zone.
So what?
So it's there for a reason.
Look, mister, it really isn't any of your business where I park.
Yeah, well, I think it is my business if you're breaking the law.
Well, maybe you want to make me move my car. Well, come on, do you?
No.
Anybody in here own that blue Chevrolet parked out front?
Yeah, I do. Why?
You better see for yourself, pal.
Well, when you cut out on the first and middle lane,
What's going on? I just parked it. It was fine.
You parked it in the handicap zone?
Yeah, 2 minutes ago.
Then I'm gonna have to write you up.
Michael had written this kind of hard-hearted, flinty, pessimistic New York, big-time New York City columnist who had seen it all and had gotten a little kind of calloused about humanity, about mankind, just a little calloused about it.
How'd you know I'd come here? There were only about 50,000 places I could have gone.
He is an angel, Mr. Bassinger.
Oh, of course he is.
Here's your soda, Mr. Bassinger.
Thanks. Hey, see this guy here? He's an angel.
Like I said, Mr. Bassinger, any friend of yours is a friend of mine. What do you have, fellas?
Tell you what, why don't you bring some sandwiches and coffee to the guys outside? Tell them it was your idea.
Hey, if it was my idea, I don't need your money.
An act of charity. Back then, you were an angel.
Why, it's not possible.
Let's say it's not probable.
Miracles are never probable.
Miracles, guys, please. I'm not buying.
Mr. Messenger, that's why we're here. I mean, that's why he's here.
Because I don't believe in miracles.
No, it's because you've lost hope, Jim.
Yeah. Thanks, Ed. Oh, what a Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Bert. And God bless you, my friend.
God bless you.
There was a scene in All the Colors of the Heart where I'm supposed to be a terrific blind basketball player. Odd, you say? Not for Michael Landon. I made the mistake of telling him I could shoot baskets, and he said, oh, fine, let's put it in the episode. So we go out to practice before the actual shot, and I hit 10 out of the first 16. I mean, I was Magic Johnson. I was unconscious. Now, Michael called action. I missed the first one. Action. I missed the second one. At 18, he was still calling action, and I was still missing. So now he decided to kind of turn the needle up on me. He said, you know, Tom, it's getting pretty expensive. I shoot, miss. Gee, he said, you know, I could have hired Stevie Wonder for this. I miss. Could have hired Ray Charles. I miss. Could have hired Jose Feliciano. I miss. Could have hired Ronnie Millsap. I miss. Geez, he said, I'm getting pretty desperate. He said, I could have hired George Shearing. I miss. He said, I'm out of blind people. I could go out and hire Marley Matlin. And I absolutely swished it, and that's what you see on camera.
I haven't done too much straight dramatic acting in my life. Mostly I've done light comedy. And there was a scene where a street lady bag lady really, is accidentally killed during a robbery. And she dies in my arms. And it was very hard for me to do. Very difficult. You know, I felt very strong. It was well written, and the actress was wonderful, but I hadn't done that kind of a heavy thing very much. And Michael made me feel so relaxed about it and so confident. We did one take, and it was perfect. And I looked up, and Michael had tears in his eyes.
Now, lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, pray the Lord my soul to
Ready? Aim. Fire!
Well, there's a scene about a man whose son was gone, and no one cared about his son, and his son was a hero. And this man fought to bring his son's memory back to people's attention. And Michael used that. One of my favorite scenes in that is at the end, when I'm sitting in this B-25 plane.
Son?
How you doing, Ted?
What is this?
Your last mission.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about touching the face of God.
You bet there is. Come on, let's go.
Check. I gotta go the rest of the way all alone.
What are you talking about alone? We're going home now, Pop. We're going home.
Michael? Light. Living life to the fullest, no matter what the obstacles. And a family and a home to come back to when day is done. These were the themes, not only of my father's work, but of his life.
You know, people and pigeons are curiously much alike. That is to say, the lovely birds have those qualities of fidelity, affection and love, courage, determination, and pride, which are qualities humans may boast of when they are at their best. If they display jealousy and pettishness, quarrelsome moments and gluttony, they should be forgiven, for their sins are small. Indeed, we humans should be forgiven as well.
Now listen. This is what's going on that we can't see. Your chick has turned itself and is pipping away at the large end of the egg.
I'll be born soon, Doc. I'll be born soon.
Very soon.
My very own bird born on my very own birthday.
What will you call him?
Dickens.
The last day of filming. And that night, Michael wrote me a beautiful letter. I want to share it with you if I can. He slipped it under the door of my room in the hotel. And I'm so glad, so thankful that I kept it. I'd like to read it to you. Dear Art, you and I are both quite shy, so you can understand why I'm writing this brief letter rather than talking to you in person. I would have difficulty saying it, and you would have difficulty accepting it. Working with you has been one of the most memorable experiences of my life. I so wanted you to be like the man I have enjoyed all these years. You were that man and more. An amazingly honest actor and a joy to be with every moment. On behalf of my crew and myself, thank you. Your friend, Michael Landon.
From 50 yards away, I'd start to smile at the sight of them, because I knew what was coming at me was kind of robust and made you feel good, because he felt good about life, and he was an encouraging person. And he made me laugh. He made me laugh smile and laugh all the time.
I think one of the things that separated Michael from a lot of other people was his courage. He chose a very difficult tack professionally. Family shows, family programming, that's a tough way to make a living.
You could always count on Michael. You know, you knew that if you were there for him, then he was going to be there for you. 100%.
I think Michael had within him the kind of heart and mind and spirit that was tapped in directly to what the majority of us feel as human beings every day.
Did anybody talk about his ears? He heard everything. No one on that set could be within 30 feet saying something if they didn't want Mike to hear it.
The most remarkable thing to me about Michael was he seemed to be without fear of anything or anyone. Most fear comes from, I guess, from doubts about ourselves. He seemed to have none of those. He seemed to be willing to stand up to anybody and everybody. As a matter of fact, seemed to sort of enjoy it. And loved to win an argument. But he had the stuff to back it up. Generally, people would maybe try to fight him for a while, but finally give in and say, well, Mike, you're probably right anyway.
Michael Landon never backed off his convictions about the American family and the relevance of the American family in our society. And at a time when we've become a little bit cynical about the place of the American family in society, the nation is crying out for the continuation of the Michael Landon legacy. And for those of us who were privileged enough to be touched by Michael, if you're listening, Mike, we guarantee that we're going to keep trying.
Hello, I'm Cindy Landon. From the time my husband was diagnosed, we have received hundreds of thousands of cards and letters from people all over the world, from all walks of life, all of whom had one thing in common, a love for a man they had never met. I'd like to thank all of you for your love and support and all of your thoughts and prayers. It meant so much to my husband and all of his family, knowing so many people were reaching out with genuine love and concern.
My father left us with a legacy we'll be able to cherish from one generation to the next. His shows touched our hearts, our souls, and our minds. He helped teach us the value of life and the importance of family. You know, my father always wanted to make this world a better place. He did.
My father wrote this for a Little House episode called Remember Me. Remember me with smiles and laughter, for that's how I'll remember you all. If you can only remember me with tears, then don't remember me at all.
Coming up next, it's the season premiere of Law and Order. One of your favorite characters will be killed, while another exacts his revenge. It's the must-see season premiere of Law and Order next. And Wednesday night, it's the season premiere of Unsolved Mysteries, with a shocking UFO story.
This is Robert Stack, inviting you to an all-new season premiere of Unsolved Mysteries, Wednesday, September 18th, only on NBC.